What's going on YouTube and fellow GTO owners? Mike here. I'm going to show you how to change the wheel hub assembly on a 2005 GTO. It's a pretty straightforward job, provided you have the right tools, which can make all the difference. So I'm going to do a little step-by-step of how to do this. Obviously, the first thing you do is take the wheels off. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you got to remove the brake caliper. You can do that with a adjustable wrench and a 15 millimeter ratchet. And you are going to take off, let's see if you could get it. You're going to take off 1 and 2. And little note here, you're going to hold the ratchet over here, and then you're going to use the adjustable wrench here and the ratchet over here. So undo those first. Okay, we got the caliper screws undone, and it should lift off with relative ease. There you go. Then you want to use zip ties or a bungee cord or something and keep this suspended so it doesn't break the hydraulic line over there. Usually you could just zip tie right to the spring of the car. So that would be the next step. Okay, I got the caliper here zip tied to the spring so it's nice and secure. Then you just go ahead and pop off the brake pads. They'll slide right out with relative ease. And 2, put those back there. Okay, now we're going to do this part over here, and that is used with 2 bolts back here. And what size is this? 1 second. Okay, yeah, it looks like 13/16 inch, and these are going to be on pretty tight, so you might have to use these with a breaker bar. Alright, broke them loose with a breaker bar, so they should come off with relative ease after that. And be sure to support the piece so it doesn't fall on you or damage any other parts. And be sure you keep track of all your bolts and keep everything nice and tidy so you don't lose anything. This should come right off, nice and easy. You set that to the side. Now, sometimes the brake rotor could be seized in there pretty well, so you might have to bang it out with a hammer or anything else, but don't strike the surface of the brake. Obviously, you don't want to damage that. You could strike this part here, but you might mess that up too with the paint if you really want to be a clean job. Use a rubber mallet, or if you don't have a rubber mallet, use a regular hammer and cover the back of the brake with like a piece of towel or something, and that'll soften the blow. But this one seems to be pretty loose, so that comes right off. It wasn't as smooth on the other wheel. I had to use the hammer method. And there is your wheel hub assembly. So this is the meat and potatoes of the project. The wheel hub assembly is bolted down by 3 10 millimeter hex nuts or Allen keys. Just 3. The problem is they're on there really tight. So be sure to use a 1/2 inch drive, because a 3/8 drive is not going to cut it. You're not going to get anywhere with that. If you want to go ahead and spray some WD-40 or whatever in there just to maybe make the job a little easier. And one more note, 2 out of 3 are fairly easy to get to, and that's usually the one on the bottom and the one on the side towards the back of the car. The one on top is a little bit harder to get to because of this bolt right here that holds the strut to the knuckle. So to make the job a lot easier, should remove this bolt over here, just this one here, and that'll make the path to the bolt much easier. One more note: these are obviously aftermarket struts, which uses a 3/4 inch bolt, and I'm not sure what the factory ones used, if they use the same size or not. They probably did use the same size because the hole would be the same on the knuckle. So you can crack it loose, and then once it's loose, you might have to secure the bolt in the back so it doesn't spin. Okay, I got the bolt out, and all I'm going to do now is just put it facing the opposite direction, just to keep everything lined up. And all you're doing really, again, is just clearing space so you could get to this 10mm hex nut later down the road, or actually right down the road, because that's what we're going to be tackling next. Okay, so I'm lined up with the first 10mm hex nut. And another thing, I'm going to use a breaker bar on this because you're pretty much going to have to. Tap the bit in there as well as you can, because you do not want to strip this nut, because that, just the thought of that is nightmare fuel. So you want to get it in there nice and clean. And here we go. Alright, we got movement. Alright guys, I went ahead and loosened the two easier ones. They're pretty much cracked loose. And the last one, little bit of a note, you're still gonna have to use probably an extension kit to get a clean shot at it. And this is by far gonna be the hardest one to get. So make sure you take your time, and again, use a 1/4 inch drive, or at least get an adapter, a 1/4 inch adapter, because a 3/8 inch drive just doesn't have enough torque to spin the bolt. But as you can see here, this one I had managed to crack loose already, and here in the home stretch. When you feel that you got all the bolts pretty loose, before you do anything else, there's a little sensor clip over here. You just use a, I don't have it on me right now, but a little flathead. Bring this up, pop it off, and just tuck it away somewhere safe. And then go ahead and keep on loosening all the bolts. Yeah, I got the sensor out. That's what it looks like. And just tuck it away behind a sway bar or something. And yeah, again, just keep on loosening the bolts. You don't have to remove them unless you want to clean them up and put a little extra thread lock on there, which is always a good idea. But the manufacturer says that you could reuse these bolts up to 3 times, and then you'd have to throw them away anyway. So, but the right thing to do would be to take them off, clean them up, and put some thread lock on it anyway. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so once you have the 3 10mm hex nuts loosened enough or completely taken off for cleaning, you're going to notice that the wheel bearing is still on here very well. You're going to have to slowly wedge it out. Now there's a little gap on 3 spots right there, as you can see, on the other side, and then underneath. And you're just gonna do the old screwdriver or any kind of wedge and slowly tap it in, pull it out, slowly tap it in, pull it out, so on and so forth, and it'll slowly work its way out. And make sure your feet is clear, any tools or anything, because if it falls, it'll hurt. Well, if it falls on you. Okay, got it all wedged out. Careful with the sensor. Well, not unless you're not going to reuse this one, but when you put in the new one, be careful with the sensor there as you're placing it back through the hole. Now, afterwards, you want to give this a nice cleaning with a wire brush. Okay, here's the nuts, the bolts. I mean, I haven't taken them off completely, but now I get a chance to pull them out a little easier. And again, you're gonna have some old thread lock on there, so that's your chance to clean it up with a wire brush. You don't gotta go crazy, just a nice little quick cleaning, and put on a new coating of thread lock, and just feed them through again. And like I said, just really very lightly clean this face. Alright, so here is the brand new wheel bearing hub assembly. Got some fresh thread lock on my bolts there. So you're just gonna line this up, okay? And there is a little I forgot what you call them, but it basically locks it in place. So there you go, slides in pretty easily. And then you're just gonna tighten your bolts down, and just do everything in reverse order. Make sure you get your torque specs down for all these important bolts, and that's about it. Thanks for watching, guys.